What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another David Rams live stream. It's been a little while since we were live, but here we are. We're back. And it's going to be a couple of live streams, guys, over the next couple of weeks. I have a couple of weeks for you before I'll have to take another little break. So let's make the most of it, and let's get on with today's very interesting stream, which I think is interesting. This whole situation between Joey Carbstrong and one of the Tates, Tristan Tate, which is going to be happening, a debate on veganism. So we're going to get into all of that, and especially some of this vegan outrage and vegan drama with it as well. Right, so before we get into it all, though, let's just quickly say a little hello to you guys. Robin Hood's here. What's up? Vegan Pundit. Hello, Louis. How's it going, mate? Yeah, I'm sure people are going to drop in as we keep going, as we move forward. As I think this is an interesting topic, and I think it's an important one. So I do hope people check this out. So who is Tristan Tate? Who are the Tates? Like, do some of you have no idea who I'm talking about? It's possible, right? I mean, they're pretty famous, but not everybody knows who they are or what's going on. So Joey Carbstrong, I guess you all know who Joey is. I would hope so anyway. He's a vegan activist, animal rights activist. And he is going to be debating Tristan Tate, Andrew Tate's brother. I'm sure you've heard of Andrew Tate. So let's get into like who these guys are and some backstory. And then we'll get to the reasons that some vegans are really, really upset about this. And they're trying to say Joey shouldn't debate Tristan. And they're actually calling Joey into question as well as to, is Joey even a real vegan? You know, things like that. It's been pretty interesting. So, right, who are the Tates then? So basically, the Tates, Andrew Tate especially, and Tristan Tate is his brother, they got famous, from what I can see, for making controversial statements online about relationships between men and women. Also, how men should treat women, how women should treat men. They tend to focus a lot on how women should treat men versus the other way around. And yeah, they're quite traditional. They're very much like traditionalists. So they believe in gender roles and that they should be upheld, basically. Men have their role and women have their role, and that's that kind of thing. That's basically what they say. Andrew Tate in particular has been quite spicy and has made a lot of like jokes that have been really dark and seemingly really aggressive. He kind of played a character, made videos in this kind of hardcore misogynistic kind of character, then came out and said it was a character, but people share those clips and say, look who he really is. So this is kind of what's been going on. And they come off as misogynistic and sexist to quite a lot of people. Both of them have been accused of misogyny, sexism, and other things. Interestingly, both of them deny being a misogynist or a sexist. So that's where that kind of thing ends. So you go watch this stuff and see the clips and you make your own mind up, and that's pretty much it with that. So the more pressing thing about these two, the more concerning thing is that actually they're both under investigation from the Romanian government, Romanian police, for trafficking. I won't say the S word before that, because we've just started the video and YouTube might be like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. Yeah, they can be quite sensitive to that kind of stuff, but they're being investigated for S trafficking, right? You get what I'm saying, don't you? And they both deny those allegations too. They say that this is just people trying to ruin them, trying to ruin their reputation because they speak truth to power, and the powers, the elites, don't want that. That's what they say. There's these allegations, and all of this stuff is an attempt to completely just destroy them and their careers and their reputations, and because they believe that they are a threat to the establishment. They believe they're a threat to the mainstream, right? And that's why the system wants to shut them down. This is basically, I've given you everything that they kind of get into in a nutshell. This is who they are. This is what they talk about. So Andrew Tate was actually banned off every social media apart from like Rumble and stuff like that, the alternative social media. And he just got his Twitter back like, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, and Elon Musk took it over. Tristan, I'm not sure. His brother, I'm not sure. I don't think he was banned. I think it was just Andrew Tate that got booted off all social media because of these misogynistic comments and these clips that were going around of him that were like pretty hardcore. And between them, and this is a really important point, between them, they have millions of diehard fans. Like they have these people, like they've turned them into kind of gods. They do artwork, you know, with them and stuff like that. They make videos about them and yeah, it's pretty intense. People really love them. Some people really love them. That's where we're up to. So that's basically what they are about. Yeah, someone's in the comments saying Tate is a rapist, for example. Yeah, that's been thrown around a lot as well. The reason I'm not telling you if they are or aren't these things is because I don't know for sure, right? I've seen stuff, I've seen the allegations, I've read things, but at this point, I don't know for sure. That's why I'm not telling you what they are or aren't. That's for you to do your research and make your mind up. The point is they're controversial as hell for all these reasons I've been through and more, right? Now, what's happened since then? Tristan Tate made a tweet where he was speaking in the tweet. He was talking about people he disagrees with and how he handles people he disagrees with, okay? Here is the tweet itself. So, says the number one sign of intelligence in 2023 is the ability to disagree on issues and stay civil. I'll follow men I disagree with on Twitter. I'll sit down and talk to them. I like opposing point of view. So Joey responded, said, come on YouTube, my YouTube channel, and debate veganism. He responded, Tristan responded back to that. There doesn't need debating. Eat what you want. I'll do the same. So quite a lot of people pointed out correctly that, wait a minute, you just said you can disagree and be civil and that you'll sit and talk with people you disagree with, but then you just shut down Joey the second he pulled something up that you definitely disagree on. So it was like, okay, what the hell? So I responded to this. My comments somewhere in here. Let's have a look. I said, Tristan, there was a great message in your tweet, but it's easier said than done. Why not show your followers how it's done by sitting with Joey and discussing your disagreements on veganism? And I think, guys, I think that did the trick. I think that was the moment that made Tristan Tate go, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I do need to consider that. I don't know if that's what it was, but I feel like that was I tried to make it as, you know, impartial and convincing as possible, right? And yeah, he actually, in the end, agreed to it. And I'll show you the agreement, the tweet where he agrees to do it. So Tristan responded to a post by Joey, where Joey was talking about, oh, you know, you bailed out. Like, why wouldn't you, you know, just pointing out the hypocrisy. Tristan responds, says, you know what? Fine. The world's most boring YouTube stream coming soon. As soon as I'm allowed to stream in July, I'll sit on a camera with this guy, prepared to be totally underwhelmed and unconvinced of anything. We will return to our respective diets after I listen to him whining for an hour. DMs are open, Joey. Yawn. So, yeah, he's not particularly enthusiastic about it, but he agreed to it. He agreed to debate Joey on this topic. And this is where we're at now. It's going ahead. It's being sorted out for July. Joey's getting all the, you know, everything arranged, and they're going to figure it out. They're going to stream it. It's going to happen. A debate on veganism between Tristan Tate and Joey Carbstrong. So where does the drama come in? Well, obviously, there's the drama of the actual debate itself. We're going to have all these fans of Tristan Tate and Andrew Tate who are pretty much 99.9% not vegan. And they're going to be listening to Joey talking to their gods, basically. This is a pretty crazy thing. There's going to be a lot of drama that comes off the back of this, probably before, during, and after. But one bit of drama I didn't expect. Well, I should expect it at this point, because vegans tend to do this kind of thing. Not all vegans, but quite a lot of vegans. A lot of vegans kicked off about this. So they're mad about it. They're mad that Joey even tried to debate Tristan, and now they're mad that he's going through with it. And as I said at the beginning, that some of them have been so mad, they're questioning Joey's veganism. They're questioning why he does what he does. They're claiming, oh, it's just for himself. He's just doing this for publicity, because if he wasn't doing it for publicity, he definitely wouldn't debate someone like Tristan. This is the kind of stuff that they've been saying. Now, let's go through the reasons, you know, why they've been saying that he shouldn't debate him. So the main reason I think that keeps popping up as why Joey Carbstrong shouldn't debate Tristan Tate is because of the allegations against Tristan Tate. Right, so the allegations of misogyny, sexism, and the investigation going on, the police investigation going on into them, and what they've been accused of there. It's mainly that people are upset about. Okay, that's the main stuff that they're saying, like, oh, this is why Joey shouldn't sit with him, because they think he's a bad person, and that's why Joey shouldn't sit and talk to him. And they've compared this debate to drinking tea with a Nazi. For example, that I saw someone say that this is like drinking tea with a Nazi, and yeah, they've said Joey is platforming insert insult here. I've seen various insults thrown out there, like the racist, sexist, misogynist, transphobe. He's debating a blah. He's platforming a blah. Basically, that one's come up a lot. And they're saying, oh, another one, it's wrong. Joey is platforming Tristan. That's another one they've said. Joey's platforming Tristan. And how could he do this? How could Joey platform such a person? So that's what's been in my timeline on Twitter. And some of it got traction, some of it got laughed at. But actually, quite a lot of it started to disappear as more and more of these people started blocking me because I made a tweet about it. And I won't show you the tweet, but I'll tell you what I said in the tweet. What I said in the tweet was, I talked about how the sitting and drinking tea with a Nazi, they said, that's like doing that. Like, that's such a bad thing. But in history has proven to actually work, i.e., people who have spent their lives trying to convert people from Nazism to not Nazism, trying to take them from extremism. One of the main things they do and they try to do is to sit with these people and talk to them. And even in one example, Nelson Mandela sat with the militia leader of an extremely racist organization that wanted to lynch black people and drank tea with him and was able to convince him to stop threatening to lynch black people and instead run politically, like, as in do the campaigning politically, don't do it with violence. By sitting and having tea with this nasty person, he was able to convince him. So the idea of not drinking tea and not sitting with somebody with extreme views to try to change those views, I don't get, what else do you think you're going to do? You can't simply exile everybody that has extreme views from society. It won't work. The more you push people out, the more they go underground and the more these views go unchecked and develop. You don't want them to develop in the dark. You want them to be out in the light with bright light shining on them so that we can debunk them and respond to them and hopefully bring them in to change them. You don't want to push these people into the dark. But yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about today. So let's break down the basics of the opportunity itself, right? And let's try and focus on outcomes and like the reality of this situation as opposed to like the philosophical elements of it. Because yeah, we can say, oh, what is it morally right or wrong and all that kind of stuff, but that doesn't matter. What matters is what actually is on the table, doesn't it? And before I get into this, guys, remember, if you've got a question or you've got a comment you want me to get to, I'm just going to keep going. But if you want me to stop and respond to what you're saying, because I see the chat's going, do send through a super chat or a Streamlabs tip and I'll get to it. All right, guys, that's how we do it. You know that. So if you want to interrupt my little monologue, that's how you do it. I will keep an eye on the chat occasionally, but yeah, if you want to jump to the top of the queue, then do that, legends. And you'll be supporting the channel as well. So win-win. All right, so the basics of this. So Joey has an opportunity here on the table to expose millions of non-vegans, most likely even quite a lot of anti-vegans, to solid vegan messages. Joey's a master at outreach. He's been doing it for years, consistently talking to people on the street. So the guy knows how to talk to somebody, and he knows tactics. He doesn't just go in and see what happens. Joey plans ahead. He thinks about what he's going to do with this kind of thing. You know, he has a strategy for whatever he's going into. Now, he's got the chance here to engage with someone, Tristan Tate, who has a cult following. The guy has an insanely devoted cult following, and he has the chance here to not only debate, right, and try and prove that he's right, but also to find common ground with Tristan on the things they both care about. Because we can assume that Tristan is going to say he's against animal abuse, right? We can assume. We can assume Tristan's going to say he wouldn't like to hurt anyone for fun, or he's not evil, right? He wouldn't sit there and go, yes, Joey, I'm evil. He would say, no, I like to think of myself as a good person. I like to think of myself as somebody who would protect the innocent, right? So Joey will have an opportunity to if he does it this way, to pick on the things that Tristan cares about and show how they're compatible with veganism. Now, that might not make Tristan go vegan, but for a lot of people watching, I mean, that's huge. Even though they're cult members, they'll be seeing somebody that they're obsessed with and they look up to, showing how the things that they aspire to be, how they're compatible with veganism. So even that's just one way it could go. One of the things I've seen a lot of people say about this debate, and one of the reasons Joey shouldn't go on there as well, is when some people have said, like I'm saying, this is an opportunity to reach millions of people, the response to that I've seen has been, oh, but no Tate fans will go vegan. No Tate fan will go vegan. Really, you think out of the millions of people these videos are going to reach, that this debate's going to reach, I think not one of them is going to be even a little bit moved by this message, by Joey's messages. You mustn't think Joey's capable of much, you know? If you don't think he's capable of at least getting through to one person through interacting with another person in front of millions of people, I mean, what do you think what do you think he's been doing for so many years? Just sitting on his ass? I mean, the guy has practiced in talking to people and understands the audience and understands what to do to you know, have the audience engage. And it's not only about the person he's debating. So talking to big non-vegan celebrities is probably the best way to do online activism. I mean, I can't think of any other form of online activism that can get you a reach of that many people within doing barely any work. I mean, all you've got to do is turn up and you could reach millions of people through the platform of another famous person, of the person who's already super famous. You leverage off their fame to get your important message out. It's like influencer marketing. It's the same thing, except in Joey's case, he doesn't have to pay for it. It's free. He goes onto a channel that has millions of followers and says what he needs to say about veganism, and that's it. He leaves. It's like an hour of his time. It cost him nothing, but he reached millions. It's a real no-brainer. It's just pure exposure. And I guess a lot of people might not be considering this, but not only the debate itself, right? But the short clips from the debate that will be posted on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, the longer clips that'll be posted of the kind of bits they get into. There's so much opportunity for massive reach with this, like huge opportunity for reach. So it won't just be the Tate fans that see this stuff. It's going to be everybody else who's got even a casual interest in Tate or Joey that's going to see this stuff. So it's just going to absolutely blow up. The reach from this conversation, the possibility, the potential is insane. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, some short-sighted vegans are just completely caught up on this Tristan Tate bad though, right? I mean, are you kidding? Are we going to pass up this opportunity to reach so many millions of people with animal rights messaging over you thinking that the guy's bad? I mean, okay, I'm going to guess the same people that are against this are also against Donald Trump, for example. I bet they hate Donald Trump. If I got the opportunity to sit down with Donald Trump and talk about veganism, I would bite the hand off the person who held that out to me. I would snap that up immediately. I mean, that is an insane option. I wouldn't even blink. It would be a no-brainer. And honestly, any vegan who would turn it down because Orange Man bad, right? If that's the reason, no, I wouldn't talk to him. I wouldn't reach millions of people with animal rights messaging because I don't like Donald Trump. I mean, I can't believe that they give enough of a shit about animals at this point if they're willing to turn it down. I know of another example like this. George Martin, Carnism Debunked. He went on to a truther, freedom movement kind of YouTube, like some hard right, freedom truther type YouTuber with 500,000 something, maybe 300,000 subs. And he picked up that opportunity to go on and talk about veganism because somebody else, and I actually can't remember who it was, but somebody else turned the opportunity down. Now, how lucky is it that George was there to pick that opportunity up and make use of that? But the person who turned it down, I'm trying to put myself into their head to see why they would turn it down. And the only reason is If it's not about, something to do with not feeling confident, that's fair enough, or time, schedule, stuff like that. If the only reason is actually because you don't agree with this person's politics and other stuff, you are putting human nonsense and disagreements in front of animal exploitation, animal abuse. Because if it's a disagreement on philosophy in life, right, or a disagreement on just political stances and who you vote for, and you're going to miss the chance to have people decide to stop abusing animals over that, really. And that, so it's really disappointing when it happens. And I can't believe that the individuals who do that really just care enough, or I think they don't have their priorities in order. Because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. The people who are coming after Joey, the people who are coming after him and coming after the people who support him and support this debate, they're putting human issues before animal issues, right? That's what's going on. That's the only explanation. Because what they're basing it on, the allegations that they're basing all of this on, is all human rights allegations. So they're accusing him of sexism, misogyny, and the accusations from the police force of Romania. So if those things are true, if all of that is true, that, okay, he is sexist, misogynist, and these allegations prove to be true, for example, if this goes ahead, then obviously, if that's all true, that's really, really terrible. It's horrific. It's, I think at that point, if that is proven without a doubt to be true, he'd lose his entire fan base anyway. And at that point, it might not be a sensible thing to get into a debate with somebody who has no sway. It would just be kind of like debating, I don't know, if everybody hates the individual, what's the point of debating them? You know what I mean? Because even if you're right, well, yeah, of course you were going to be right. This person's a scumbag. Of course, they're always wrong, right? That's not the case with Tristan. People love him, right? So, but if all that were true anyway, that's how it would go. But the point is that I'm trying to get at here is accusations of misogyny and sexism, to not debate someone on the basis that they've been accused of those things, to not go and talk to them about veganism, when what happens to animals is like a million times worse than those things, let's be honest, I mean, is pretty insane to me. And I think it's putting principle and human issues before animal issues. And it's something that unfortunately, a lot of vegans do. And it winds me up, and it's disappointing, to be honest, guys, that we even have to come to this point. Because check this out, okay? If you weren't already convinced, this might convince you. What is the outcome of Joey not talking to Tristan? So, if Joey doesn't talk to Tristan Tate, what happens? I can tell you what happens. Nothing. Nothing happens. That's it. Nothing happens. Tristan Tate carries on doing what he's doing. Joey carries on doing what he's doing. Nothing changes, right? Okay. What happens if Joey does talk to Tristan Tate? Well, something happens, doesn't it? Millions of people are exposed to animal rights and veganism and these messages from Joey. And this is a conservative social media celebrity. So 99% of his audience is non-vegan. So Joey's hitting those guys mostly. So if he does nothing, that doesn't happen. If he does something, that happens. So just looking at just purely on the outcomes of this, for him to not do it, for what? For principle? Why is principle so? There's no outcome. Joey's not saving anyone by not debating him. Like no one is rescued or is saved from some kind of suffering if Joey doesn't debate Tristan. But if he does debate Tristan, there's a chance that he could help someone. There's a chance that he could help animals. It's not like Joey talking to him hurts people or something, right? That's not what's on the table. And animals really don't care about these principles that we go, oh, I won't talk to him because he's a this and a that. I won't try and convince his audience to stop hurting animals because he's a that. Animals couldn't give a fuck about any of that, any of your personal principle takes regarding human rights issues. I mean, come on. I think these people who are coming against it, I mean, they're not putting themselves in the animal's shoes, are they? I can't imagine they are. I mean, I can't imagine somebody who goes and investigates farms and slaughterhouses on a regular basis. I can't imagine someone doing that job who sees the incredible suffering and sees the lives of these animals coming along and saying, no, Joey, don't talk to this guy because principles. I really can't see that. What I would put my money on is that the majority of the people who are against this debate have never stepped foot anywhere near a farm or a slaughterhouse. Most of them probably aren't actually activists. I think most of them would be about as far removed from the situation with animals as you can get as a vegan. And they're just operating from this kind of place, just really, really far away from it all in some kind of principled philosophical world where they just operating on like purity, some kind of looking to be the most pure vegan, the most pure, what do they call themselves? When they want to be on every topic, they want to be the most pure on every single form of exploitation and including the human rights and animal rights and just looking for absolute purity. That's the kind of person who's coming out against this, and that's the kind of person that will drag any kind of animal focused movement down into the ground. And they've already tried doing it, and here they are trying to do it again. Yeah, they're putting their own selfish desires and selfish BS before animals, which we see a lot from these people. They call themselves, I guess, like total liberationists or something like that. George Martin, for example, Carnism Debunked, he calls them intersectionals, which is the term that I've used in the past as well, but it's not a completely accurate term. But it's this kind of individual that is coming out after Joey for all of this. Yeah, it's just super disappointing, guys. All the logical discussion around this, it tells you that it's clearly a good idea for Joey to talk to Tristan Tate. DJ Lionel, thank you so much for the tip, mate. Appreciate it. It says, for the animals. Legend. Thank you. And Dillian, thank you, mate, for a $10 tip. Joey's been debating other people that a lot of people in the vegan community, like Piers Morgan, strongly disagree with. Did they oppose that as well? Did I miss something? Dillian, you are 100% right, mate. He did debate Piers Morgan, and no one seemed to care about that, but Piers Morgan's not got the best history, has he? He's got a rap sheet. He's got a lot of things he's said and things he's done and opinions that people don't like. He's been accused of racism, transphobia, sexism, misogyny. He's been accused of the whole lot as well. But yeah, no one cares about Joey debating Piers Morgan. At least I didn't see anyone kicking off about it. The idea of not debating someone because they, taking away the legal stuff aside and the stuff they've been accused of. I mean, it's innocent until proven guilty on that side of things, right? But the other stuff that they're being accused of, the isms, it's like, well, I mean, I actually, do you know what was interesting? I saw someone in my tweets, Simon, a friend, he was asked one person, what can you point out some areas of, like, I don't know, that you don't like about Tristan Tate? Point out some things that he said, point out some of the misogyny, because it's clear, like, everyone's saying he's a sexist. So where is it then? It must be very easy to find. If Tristan Tate is a, disgusting sexist bigot that Joey shouldn't talk to, okay, the evidence should be right there, right? So Simon said, hey, where is the, can you show me something? And this person's like, no, it's just general stuff. And it's like, well, I mean, if you're so, convinced about this, then you should have it up on so that we can look at it. And then, also maybe, show Joey it. And if you really think it's worth considering. So yeah, I don't know if with Tristan, I don't know if it's the Andrew Tate stuff that's kind of poisoned the well for Tristan or what. But actually, yeah, is that what's going on? Maybe people are just kind of reacting because it's the Tates and because Tristan's associated with Andrew Tate, and Andrew Tate's got quite a lot of these clips online that are pretty hardcore. I don't know, it's very interesting. But either way, none of this is a reason to not talk to him about animal rights. And if it were a reason to not talk to him about animal rights, then you're simply just not putting animals as a priority. That's just the absolute basics of it to me. And I fully support Joey debating Tristan here, and I hope this blows up big. I hope this debate gets lots of clips from it, and it really hits it off. Pretty sure Joey could do a good job of balancing this kind of understanding and calm attitude and trying to. What I would think the best way to be would be to appeal to Tristan's core values, to find out what his core values are. Like, what do you care about, Tristan Tate? What are the things that are important to you? Like, the big world things, like big things, big picture, like being a good person or standing up to whatever, or, is that the kind of stuff that's important to you? Or yeah, as Dutchy360 just said, thank you for the tip. Says, the Tates are heavily dog lovers. They've built a dog shelter in Romania, so it's got to count some sort of connection, just hypocrites though. Yeah, for example, you guys like dogs. What's the reason you look after the dogs? What's the core value behind that? Well, I believe in protecting the weak, innocent animals. Dogs are super innocent, etc., etc. That would be a really good way of going about it, because then you could appeal to the audience that highly respects the Tates and Tristan Tate's opinions, and they want to have Tristan Tate's values. Joey could show how those values are compatible with veganism. I would choose that way if I were Joey. We'll see how he decides to go about it, but I think that would be a really solid tactic. Because obviously, if you get his core values and that he's against animal abuse and that he's protecting the weak and that he does this for dogs, and then you can move on to say, well, eating burgers for pleasure is the opposite of all those things, isn't it? And also, these guys are against the system, the matrix as they call it. They say the system is after them because they're breaking it and they're upsetting a lot of people, stuff like that. Well, I mean, the system wants you to eat meat. Like, a lot of people will say, oh, but the WEF, they want you to eat vegan. No, they don't. They want you to eat bugs. The plant-based, like veganism, is not pushed by the system. It is not pushed by the establishment. What's pushed by the establishment is continuous dairy consumption, meat consumption, and now bug consumption. That's establishment propaganda. That's what the system runs on. That's where all the millions are going in lobbying, and that's where all this hardcore advertising and manipulative advertising is going. That's where the money's all going, not into animal rights and ethical veganism. That's not where the money's going. There's no money in that. There's only a loss of money in that. So people tend to they tend to cross wires with the environmental movement. The environmental movement promotes stuff like regenerative animal farming, promotes eating bugs. We have nothing to do with that as vegans. So this kind of stuff, I really do hope they get into that as well. I hope Joey can point this out to him and his audience, that we're nothing to do with these agendas that are trying to take away your freedoms, trying to make you eat bugs as a protein source, trying to close down your cities and charge you money to be able to drive across the city, to push you onto public transport, trying to switch all your stuff to digital so they can control where you spend money and what you spend it on, and they can see where you're spending, how much you're spending it, shut down your bank account at any moment. Once they switch to there's like government digital currency, stuff like that. Like, they think vegans are part of this whole big agenda for taking control away from the people, but we're not. And again, I really hope that Joey can get on there and show there's a big distinction between people who care about animals and are operating with not even care, who just respect that an animal has moral worth. Like, this is a decision to stop contributing to animal abuse as much as we possibly can, especially especially focusing on the main causes of it, and that's animal agriculture and food, clothing, medicine, animal testing. Joey can go through all those things and just explain how it all pans out, and debunk all of that kind of nonsense around that we're part of some new world agenda or some shit. We have nothing to do with that shit. We need to distance ourselves as far away as possible from that nonsense. I can tell you that. Right. It's really, really important. And we know for a fact that, contact, talking to people and getting close to people undoes a lot of extreme opinions that some people have about other people. We see that with racists. I see that with sexists. I see that with lots of different groups that hold extreme opinions. There's tons of examples of them when they interact with the people they supposedly hate. The hate starts to, it's difficult to hate someone that you like, right? And once they start engaging with the people that they supposedly hate, that the hate starts to drift away. We see that all the time. So just reiterating that as this idea of not talking to somebody who has bad opinions, it just doesn't really add up. And that's why we talk to non-vegans, guys. That's why we talk to meat eaters. It's you know, they have extremely strong beliefs and an extremely strong belief system that they should eat meat and that animals can die for their taste buds, right? Well, we don't just go around saying, oh, fucking don't talk to those guys. Don't fucking talk to those guys. They're disgusting. Now, we don't do that because we've acknowledged and figured out a long time ago that doesn't work. That doesn't get people to your side. So this is no different from that, in my opinion. This is exactly what we need to be doing. We need to be talking to people we disagree with, especially when they have audiences of millions of people. Especially when they have audiences of millions of people to listen and potentially be moved by what we're saying, even if the person we're talking to isn't. So what do you think, guys? Chat's open. Super chats and the tips are open. Let's talk about it. And I also, you know what I also did, but no one's taken up the offer, not surprisingly. Unfortunately, guys, you know, every time I have an issue, there is an issue with something to do with, usually it's these, like I said, these total liberation kind of people, these intersectional types. Whenever there's an issue with them, with something I've said or someone else has said or something I've done or someone else is doing, I invite them on to come and talk about it. Like, what do you disagree? How do you disagree? Or what do you not like about the Joey Tristan debate, for example? Or when I made a video with Danny lifting vegan logic and they were upset about parts of the video. Okay, what are you upset about? Come on. Or someone was like the interview that I did with the trans influencer Buck Angel on my second channel. Some people were upset about that. So I say, hey, you know, what are you upset about? Why don't you come on and talk about it? Every single time these people just disappear into thin air. They will not come on to talk about it. They will not come on and actually have a verbal conversation. They tend to, they really prefer to stick and hide behind keyboards and block whenever it gets too difficult. And it's really disappointing and sad because, again, like, lots of people were super vocal about being against this debate. But I've posted now saying, hey, you know, if someone's against it, come along and we'll chat about it. You can come on the channel or you can come in the comments as well. And I've been keeping a little eye on the comments and I don't see any of these people here. And no one's contacted me to come on the channel during this stream and tell us why they don't want Joey to debate Tristan Tate or why Joey's a bad person if he does it or whatever they wanted to say. They never do it. So what that tells me about this kind of person, it still tells me that they're in that same boat as what I was saying before, that it further backs up my theory that they are so far removed from reality that they just operate in this kind of purity competition, this philosophical principle purity world. And they just won't step out of it because they know that having an actual verbal interaction with somebody on these topics would expose all of their irrational beliefs. So they prefer to hide, stay in their little pockets on Twitter where nobody can challenge them because they block away. But they know that if they come online, they can't block and they can't hide behind, like, you know, text and have backup from all their mates. So they refuse to come on and chat about the stuff that they are chatting about publicly on Twitter. That's the crazy thing. If they said this stuff privately and, you know, kept it offline and they didn't want to talk about it online, fair play. But they are very, very vocal in their own little spaces on Twitter in public, but like in their own corner of the public. And it's I don't get it, guys. It's all I could say is I don't want to, you know, really bitch about these people too much because I'm trying to move away from being that kind of immature, kind of complaining about people and making judgments and bitching kind of like that. You know what I mean? Trying to be a little bit more reasonable. I'm giving it a go, guys. Just bear with me, all right? I'm trying to be charitable, but it does just seem that they're kind of caught up in an almost cult-like mentality of, I don't want to talk to anybody about the things. And when I'm challenged and pushed hard, I will block them. It is kind of culty. Yeah, it is culty. But how do we get them out of that cult? That's a good question. How do we pull these people, these vegans who are caught up in these weird kind of cults, usually this intersectional world or total liberation world where they don't operate in reality. They don't operate logically. They operate with some weird hardcore principled takes where the outcome isn't important to them. What's more important is being righteous and being pure. How do we pull people out of that to say, hey, look, no, let's focus on the reality here. Like Joey talking to Tristan is a great idea because it will reach millions of people. Regardless of what we think about Tristan, he's a means to an end. And who knows, he might surprise you. Maybe all these accusations of misogyny, blah, 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 maybe none of it's true anyway. And maybe the Romanian government really is after them and they've done nothing. You also have that element of it, like the innocent until proven guilty side of things. Hold up. Oh, I just realized my light isn't on. I thought things were a bit dark. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? Damn. Oh, the whole stream without my little light. Anyway, guys, that wasn't very important, but I feel like it is. So there you go. It's up now. So yeah, you know, it might end up being that all the stuff that they say, like the people are against them, the system is against them, blah, blah, blah. It might end up being that that's all true. You don't know. There's no, if there were evidence against them, they'd already be locked up, wouldn't they? Right. So, and today's society just says guilty until proven innocent. People, it's not about like, oh, do we have like actual logical kind of step-by-step proof of this? It's more, well, the public opinion is that they are guilty, so they are guilty, and they that's it, you know? And this isn't me defending them. Like I said at the beginning, I don't know. I genuinely don't really know anything about these two. Like I've looked at the worst of Andrew Tate, and I've been like, bloody hell, okay, that's intense. And then I looked at some other stuff where he was like, yeah, that was a character. And it's like, okay, fine. And then I've seen other stuff that wasn't really that bad. Tristan, I've seen nothing really at all bad from Tristan. But then again, I've not gone through 5-10 years or whatever of his tweets. So as I said, I come in here speaking specifically about this debate, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, as Harvey's saying here, takes the liars and showmen could all be a hoax, but they're guilty anyway. Well, guilty of being liars and showmen. Sure, if they're guilty of being liars and showmen, that doesn't mean that regardless of if they are or aren't, they've got millions of people following them. So it's still worth using their platform to talk about veganism. You know what I mean? Even if that's 100% true. Yeah. So there it is. Yeah. So again, I'm interested to see, does anyone actually have like a solid reason that you think Joey shouldn't go on there and wants to talk about it? Either you can talk about it in the chat or you can talk about it on stream. I prefer you come on stream, but I guess it's not going to happen. Hold up, I'm a bit bugged about this. I want to make it more like wider. It's bothering me. Maybe like that. That's a little bit better. Yeah. Yeah. I'd prefer somebody come on and have a chat about the Tates, but yeah. About why Joey shouldn't talk to them. Well, it's not even both of them, it's just Tristan. Saw Danny was here earlier. Maybe he popped in he heard his name, his ears were burning when I was talking about him. Oh. Yeah, these same people have come after Danny a couple times. More recently, they came after Danny, talking about lifting vegan logic here, because the video that I did with him, Danny impersonated one of these people that I'm talking about, these total liberation, intersectional kind of people. He impersonated one of them. He put a blue wig on and basically just like, do you want to see it? Let's pull it up. It was a good clip from Danny. It was a video that we did together. And they were angry. They were angry at him for this clip. So I'm going to load this up for you now. So here's the video that we did together. It's called Bro, Do You Even Vegan? We did 16 types of vegan, and Danny did the intersectionals just here at the end. So there, they really hated him for this.
Veganism doesn't talk about people of color, you're racist. Your veganism doesn't talk about minorities, you're racist. Your veganism doesn't talk about trans people, you are a transphobe. If you are trying to push veganism onto indigenous people, you are nothing but a colonialist. Do not push your veganism onto people in the LGBT community, all right? That would be homophobic. White veganism is the problem. If you use the word rape in your vegan activism, you are a rape enabler. And if you use the word Holocaust, you are anti-Semitic. Please don't use words accurately, because that would be anti-Semitic and rape enabling. And if you use the word slavery, I mean, obviously, you're a racist. Silence is violence, and basically, if you're incapable of balancing all kinds of oppression and putting all kinds of oppression in your vegan activism, you're a racist. I'm offended every day. The fact that my alarm went off this morning offended me. Everything that I do just offends me. The fact that I'm sitting here right now offends me. My hair offends me. Making vegan dog meat would be appropriating Asian culture. I'm offended.
Yeah. So that's it's incredibly accurate, guys. So if you want to know the type of people that are coming after Joey and Danny and me for supporting this debate and saying this is a good idea, that's it right there. Like we compiled, basically we did a full professional survey of all these kinds of people, right? And this is the amalgamation of that. No, I'm kidding. It's a spoof of all of the different stuff we've heard from all the different people that talk like this, that are in the vegan world, and this is how it came out. And this is, yeah, we can add to this list now, a list of things that Danny just went over there. We can add Joey Carbstrong shouldn't debate Tristan Tate because reasons, you know. We can actually add that in there now for the next time we do one of these videos, yeah. Right. Disappointing to see vegans going against animals. I did see one person said something like, we don't want veganism to be associated with this type of person. It's like, what you do. So for example, right, let's say Tristan Tate is all the things he's been accused of and he goes vegan. You're telling me you'd rather him eat meat? You'd rather Tristan Tate was eating meat, putting dairy cows through a life of just exploitation, having their babies ripped away from them, and then when it's all over, when they've milked them just year after year after year after year, and taken their babies year after year, they kill them. The chickens, just you know, the conditions. It's even if they had the best conditions, obviously it doesn't matter because they're gonna have their throat slit. But as it happens, the conditions of 99% of chickens are fucking horrendous. Pigs, just phenomenal suffering in these pig farms. So you would rather Tristan Tate funded all of that and kept that industry going if it turns out that he's guilty of all the things he's being accused of, because you don't want veganism to be associated with that kind of person. How does that make any sense? Like anybody can decide that animal abuse is wrong. They can be a total piece of shit in every other way. They could be an absolute scumbag, horrendous person, but they could choose to do that and not fund all of that for animals. The second you start saying that somebody shouldn't go vegan if they hold a certain view, you are just literally throwing animals completely under the bus. Right? You could say, yeah, they're vegan, but there's a lot of other things I think we need to talk about. Or they're vegan, but they're bad in other ways. And that's okay. What can we do about that? Well, we can try to talk about the other things, right? Bring them in close and say, hey, you know, there's some other stuff. Oh my God, the light's over. The light is not playing ball today, guys. It is unhappy. Unhappy light. All right, the light's back. Fucking nightmare. A nightmare. Hey. All right. Yeah, I don't know. You could talk to them about other stuff, couldn't you? You know, about the things you don't agree with them on. Find out why they believe what they believe, and maybe try and do something about it. You know, that's always an option. But to tell them, no, we don't want you to go vegan. I mean, you really are just. You're really far removed from what happens to animals. That's all I'll say about that. You are far removed from it. If you would tell somebody, keep on paying for it because I don't want you associated with my movement. Who gives a fuck about your movement? Seriously, who gives a fuck about that? Each individual person, we're not a collective or a group that has all the same opinions. There is, honestly, guys, there is no real like community or movement. We have individual activism communities that have their own shit or whatever, but each individual that goes there, they have their own opinions and their own shit and their own views on lots of different topics. You don't get to just simply say, if you have these certain views, we don't want you associated with us, so don't be a vegan. Mental. Absolutely mental. You're completely... You must hate animals, honestly. You must have, like... That's all I could say. Like, if you know what happens to them as a vegan, and you're actually close to it, and you say to people... we don't want you here, which is basically translating to don't be vegan because we don't want you as part of our thing or whatever. You must hate them. You must hate animals. You can't call yourself any kind of, animal lover or anybody who actually gives a shit. Individual people have all kinds of fucked up opinions and all kinds of fucked up views. But but we care about animals. So if we can get someone with fucked up opinions and fucked up views to go vegan, I think that's a pretty damn solid step in trying to address at least one of their fucked up views. Okay? At least one. They probably have many, but the one we concern ourselves with is animals, because there's practically nothing that anyone could do that would ever come anywhere near close to the severity of what happens to animals in animal agriculture. So I don't think there's anything wrong with Joey or anyone focusing on animal rights and veganism with people, no matter if they're bad in other ways, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah. But I'm still seeing... Okay, so there is one comment, and guys, keep comments. If you've got other opinions, then you can pop them in. If he is guilty of rape and kidnapping and or trafficking, why would anyone talk to him about animal abuse, humans, animals? If he were guilty of all of that stuff, he wouldn't have a platform. If he had a platform, right, of millions of people and was guilty, then that would be insane. The reason that he's got a platform of millions is because he is currently not guilty. He's accused, but he's maintaining that he's innocent and that this is people trying to spoil his reputation, which has only excelled him to more fame, because when he says the system is against him and then the system does this to him, it just helps him more and more and more. So until you know if someone's guilty, you presume innocence. So yeah, to answer your question, if it does end up being, like, as I said earlier on, 100% like guilty done, then I'd assume that the majority of people who actually care about and want to listen to him would not want to listen to him anymore. So disproving somebody who already has a bad reputation wouldn't be really, there wouldn't be much point of that, I suppose, at that moment. Simply just technically, like logically, there probably wouldn't be much point of going online and shitting on somebody who already is shat on by like the vast majority of people. But that isn't the case at the moment. The case is that actually, although the public and the media might tell you these two are like the worst of the worst and everybody hates them, it's not true. Online, they have more fans than they do have haters, as far as I can see. But yeah, an interesting question anyway. Another question from Jean as well. Tate is not a rational, loving person. Why do you think he would listen or change through logic or compassion? We don't. It's the audience that may or may not change. Millions of people watching. You never know. And this idea that them not being rational or loving, is that just like an assumption that you've made? Because they have they opened like dog shelters, so there's clearly something in there that to be keyed in on. VLAM says, if vegans should only talk to people who are 100% pure and innocent, we might as well never speak. Very true. Very true. And there's another element to all this that I've just realized now, that Who Joey chooses to speak to or not speak to is frankly none of anyone else's fucking business. I mean, if you're paying Joey's Patreon, you're a supporting member, and you disagree, then potentially then you could voice your concerns. Say, hey, Joey, I support your work. I'd rather you didn't do this. And then if he says, no, I'm going to do it, you could choose to remove your Patreon. That's fine. But if not, if you're just like a Joey fan, you really, these people don't have a fucking say. You know what I mean? It's like, he will do what he thinks is right or wrong. And if you try to convince him in something that he shouldn't or should or shouldn't, and he's like, doesn't agree with you, then that's kind of the end of the conversation. I think a lot of people also feel entitled to tell other people what they should or shouldn't do and who they should and shouldn't talk to. And I don't know where, I guess this kind of grew as influential people online started to get more and more active with the public, and then the public started to invest in these people emotionally, and then I guess they see like, oh, I have a say in this, I have shares in this person, I get to decide who they talk to and who they don't. My opinion on this is the most important thing. But actually, I mean, when it's someone like Joey who does this as a career, I don't really understand how the general kind of observer thinks they know more than Joey does about the thing that he literally devotes his entire life to, like social media, making videos, talking to people, engaging people, trying to get viral videos out to millions of people. He's been on TV with Piers Morgan. He's been on interviews with like popular TV shows in England, other ones as well, on the radio. I mean, if there's anyone that understands how to get messages out on different platforms and try and get success, you know, it would be Joey. And also Ed's good at it as well. They're both really good at it. So yeah, there's that element of it all as well, which is important to consider. What else we got, guys? What else we got? Yeah, keep pumping your questions through on this or your takes. I'll check Twitter again, see if anyone's popped up yet, but I don't think anyone's going to come on and have this discussion, unfortunately. Would have been cool to, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. Nah. To be fair, the tweet didn't necessarily, like, it didn't really take off anyway. Maybe that's something to do. Maybe it's just not been seen by these people. But as I also said, these people who criticize the debate have been blocking me, so... Yeah. I mean, if we never do anything at all controversial online, I mean, like talking to someone controversial or whatever, you're never going to reach the big numbers. If you're just making vanilla content with no controversy or no controversy at all, no hot takes and none of that, you're just going to be kind of stuck in a very small pocket of the internet. So, yeah, it's definitely important, guys. All right, I guess if no one has more reasons to not... Oh, there was one thing, sorry, there's one more thing, wasn't there? I remember now. So one of the other reasons I want to debunk this was that Joey is platforming this person, and this person's bad. Joey shouldn't platform this person. That's not happening at all. Joey has the smaller audience. Tristan Tate is platforming Joey. This is a win. So I didn't get that as well. Joey Carbstrong's platforming this guy. What are you on about? Joey Carbstrong is minor compared to this guy's fame. So yeah, wild. Tristan, practically anyone who Tristan has on, you know, their fame is so big, him and his brother, that, you know, they really are platforming you in most cases. Bar, obviously, there are people more famous than them, but there's probably no vegan activist who's more famous. So, you know, they would always be platforming you, unless you're like Joaquin Phoenix or something. Pretty much. V says, my criticism is we should prioritize talking to people who are open to veganism, preach to the choir, and keep expanding the choir until we reach the tipping point and veganism becomes the new norm. V, I can't tell if you've been... I hope you're being sarcastic there. Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously, I think it's important to prioritize in a one-to-one scenario, as in if no one's filming and stuff like that, then yeah, you should probably prioritize people who are open to veganism. I hope the preaching to the choir bit, that means talking to your own people. So I don't agree with that. But yeah, if you're out in public or if you're talking about family and friends or whatever, you should for sure prioritize the people who are open. If you're being filmed and you have you have an account, you have YouTube, you have Twitter, whatever, TikTok, Instagram, and you've got the opportunity to talk to people who have a big reach or a big following, or to talk to people who have pretty ludicrous ideas and pretty bad takes, and you can use them and what they say to basically show how ridiculous these anti-vegan arguments are. Or you can leverage their platform to put out solid vegan content, even knowing that they're not going to be convinced. Then that is absolutely a good idea. You should absolutely, even if you know you're not going to convince the person you're talking to, if they have a big platform, you should still go on. Like, Joey was never going to convince Piers Morgan. Should he not have gone on daytime national TV? Should Joey not have gone on national TV? I think he's been on national TV 3 times now. Should he not have done it because he knew that he would never convince the host of the program to go vegan? That doesn't make any sense. They've got to go out and get the message out as far and wide as possible. Like I said, if Joey could talk to Donald Trump, I'm sure he would as well. As I would hope any vegan who is confident enough would do. It's a fucking monstrous audience. Imagine that. Imagine the title. Donald Trump debates vegan. It'd be crazy. It will blow up. Even fucking Putin. Putin debates veganism. I mean, if like, put it this way, right? If Vladimir Putin, right, dropped me a DM and was like, hey, what's up, David? Dave Ram, seen your stuff online. Dig it. I dig it. But I wanted to come and have a chat with you, but I don't want to talk about any of that, Ukraine stuff, right? Everyone wants to talk to me about that. I don't want to talk about that, right? I want to talk about veganism. I'm interested in animal rights. I had Pamela Anderson over here a couple years back talking about orcas and seals and shit. And I was like, she's cool. I like her. I started looking at some YouTubers. I found you. And I was like, this guy says it how it is. I like that, right? So I'll come on your channel, but I don't want to talk about the Ukraine stuff, right? I mean, I get it. Like, I get it. I don't like war, but I've got my reasoning for doing this stuff, right? But, and I know people don't like me and don't agree with me, and I know lives are being, I know all that stuff, right? I don't want to discuss it. I just want to talk about veganism and animal rights, David, right? So Ukraine's off the table. I don't want to talk about that. No political stuff, actually. No war stuff, no political stuff. I don't want to talk about any of it. I will only talk about veganism with you on your channel. All right, what are you saying? David Rams, signed Vladimir Putin, right? What do you do? What do I do? Do I say no? Out of principle, because I don't agree with what's going on. I don't agree with the war. I don't agree with the decisions this person's making and the impact it's having on people's lives and the death and the violence. And I don't agree with this stuff. So I know you want to come on and talk about veganism. And I know we could reach tens of millions of people. But no, I can't. Out of principle, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd find it difficult to turn down that opportunity to reach millions of people with veganism. I would really find that a difficult option. I wouldn't turn it down is the answer to the question. I probably wouldn't feel like totally comfortable with the situation because I want to talk about the other stuff, of course, but that would be a weird reason to turn it down. Like, we have an opportunity to deal with a topic that is killing billions of animals, right? And we're going to turn it down because of another topic that's killing thousands of humans that we can't talk about. I don't know about that. I would talk to Mr. Putin. What other examples do we have? I mean, damn, there's lots of examples. There's lots of examples of people that you would deem to be morally, disgusting, who have massive followings, who would rock up and be like, hey, if we don't talk about this nasty shit that I've done and I'm doing, talk about veganism, I don't know, it's tough. And I would probably take the opportunity there. And then lots of people would be upset, but hey, the vegans would be very upset. Lots of people would be very upset, but it would be an opportunity to have lots of people see what veganism's about. And yeah. So there you go, guys. There's that. I didn't think this is where the conversation would go. And I don't know if I've not really thought this 100% through, but I do feel like, yeah, I feel like I would probably take that debate offer from Putin. Would you take the offer, guys? Hey, that's a good question. Would you take the debate offer if Putin dropped you a little note and was like, hey, these are the conditions? Would you take it? Would you? Okay, forgetting the fact that if you're good or bad at debate, forget that. Let's imagine you're great at debate. I'm just talking about specifically if you would take the opportunity based on what he's currently doing. And if no, then tell us why not. That would be interesting to see. So we've got 1 yes, 2 yeses. Yeah, of course, exactly. So that tells us that even in the most extreme case here, we would still do it. We'd still go ahead, right? Dillion's gonna start learning Russian. Nice. Are we supposed to watch 2 live streams simultaneously? Who else is live streaming right now? I was here first, guys. You watch me. You don't go anywhere else. Is Ellie streaming? She's always streaming. When is Ellie not streaming? That's the question, really, isn't it? No, Ellie's not streaming. Who else is streaming? Okay, it's fine then. No one else is streaming. Yeah, unless you're talking about the Putin stream. That's not happening yet, guys. That's going to be another time, yeah? We're going to get that sorted. Going to get that set up. Yeah, everyone's saying you would do it. Everyone's saying you would debate him. You debate Putin. Right. There you go. There you go. That gives us everything we need to know, doesn't it? So, if yes to Putin, why no to Tristan Tate? That's the question. Yeah, Mark say you'd have Secret Service watching. Right. Yeah, probably. They'd be trying to look for weaknesses. Maybe I can set that up. Maybe I could set up like an AI Putin and have a vegan debate with him and then watch people lose their shit and be like, oh, it's super insensitive. How could you do that? How could you possibly think about doing that? Oh my God. Even AI, it's still wrong. It's still wrong. You shouldn't do that. That's what these vegans would be saying. These total liberation, intersectional types. They'd probably be upset even with the AI stuff. I saw a couple people were upset with the AI stuff in my last video. Joe Rogan, they were upset that I used AI to imitate Joe Rogan's voice, saying that it's not right. What do you guys think about that? You think it's wrong? I think it's wrong to use AI to imitate people's voices and make a comedy video that's clearly fake. It's about as fake gets. The words didn't even match up with his mouth. I think the AI stuff is people are just going stupid about it because it's probably just the same as when digital cameras came in, and then everyone was like, oh, it's making it easy. Anyone can be a photographer now. It's bullshit. And then Photoshop came and, oh my God, anyone can just digitally alter photos now. What about all these artists that are going to have to, this was an art and now it's bullshit. And now AIs and everyone's like, oh, it's not real art. It's wrong. It's all wrong. Oh, it's like, guys, do you not realize we've been here like so many times in the last 50 years, 60 years. But these freakouts still happen. It's just it's a pretty advanced tool, but then so was Photoshop. I mean, so was the digital camera. These are very advanced things that it's just gonna keep going. So people need to calm down and get bloody used to it. I think AI is great, personally, guys. I'll definitely be using it for some more videos and stuff in the future. I think there's a lot of applications we can use it for with to do like, a lot of animal rights stuff, animal rights work. Did you know, I'm going to cover it in Face the Facts Friday. Do you know PETA just used AI? They used ChatGPT to rewrite Genesis in the Bible. Fucking hell. Oh, PETA just doesn't stop, does it? They just don't, they have no line. There's no line for PETA. They just do what they want, right? And then when everyone gets upset about it, then they're like, if they realize they went too far, they'll retract it and be like, all right, sorry. But they're like, shoot first, ask questions later on everything. And they just don't fucking care. I don't think they even have a team that is designed to just be like, guys, is this too much? They don't have that team. They just have a team of people that are just like, yes. Hey, I've got this great idea. How about we rewrite Genesis and the Bible with ChatGPT and veganize it? And everyone in the room went, yes, do it. Who wrote? Peter did it. Peter rewrote it with ChatGPT. I'm not going to show it. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm going to talk about it in Face the Facts Friday. So you can go and check it out. Just Google it if you want to read it. But I'll do a breakdown and stuff in Face the Facts, which is going to be it's like next week, right? Yeah. Face the Facts Friday will be out this month on 26th. So not this Friday, the one after. We've got some cool stories. I'll go through some of the stories I'm going to talk about, guys. Get you excited for it. If you don't know what Face the Facts Friday is, guys, if you're somebody who just watches the streams, Face the Facts Friday is a monthly vegan-related news roundup that I do. And it used to be every week, but it's just too intense. And the best I can do is like every month, and good high quality, and like, you know, gives me a chance to research and get all these stories together. So I do them every month. They're on the channel, and this is the next one. The next one we've got some stuff about, okay. Oh, this was interesting. This DJ in Australia did a campaign with PETA and got absolutely cancelled for it. A big time cancellation, like crazy. So we'll get into that. Some stuff about animal testing in the UK. They've brought it back in for makeup. We're going to talk about some stuff with McDonald's. They've done this shit is insane, what they've been doing. Not related to animals, related to people, believe it or not. But, you know, they're terrible. We've got a whistleblower who exposed the meat industry with some really interesting stuff. A very weird influencer on TikTok I want to talk about, a vegan influencer. Not good. Some stuff with a supermarket in the UK and what they've been doing. Some nasty shit with pigeons. Not very good. Very nasty. Bear Grylls. We're going to talk about Bear Grylls. Peter and the Bible. We write in the Bible. Going to talk a bit about Guardians of the Galaxy. There's something quite interesting that I can show you that I've not talked about yet with the director. Some stuff about Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of the UK, said some things that I'm going to get into. This whole meat is essential for human health study that came out. We'll talk about that. And yeah, a couple other things. So there'll be even more and more as we get closer to the time. I'm just putting the stories together now as well. If you have any stories, guys, you want me to cover, then just shoot them over, and I'll cover them in the Face the Facts if I see them being, if I think they're good. I think they're good to be covered. Can you talk about vegans being opposed to animal welfare laws? Well, right now, you want me to talk about that, Dillian? Elaborate on that. What do you mean by that? Like people who are what? Upset about, like, what do you mean? Dillian, explain, and I'll get into it. No worries. Well, whenever you want, yeah. Yeah, I can talk about that, Dillian, if you just tell me specifically what you're asking. I mean, we could do like a little Q&A. I knew this part of the stream, the Joey and Tristan debate, wouldn't be that long, so I left some time to do a little Q&A with you guys. So just pop in some questions, and I'll get to them in the chat. But also, if you're a legend, you'll support the stream anyway, and you'll get you'll get bumped to the top of the list, and that really helps me. But I will keep an eye on the chat and answer some questions too. So like Sai, I guess it's pronounced your name. I don't know what you're trying to say. You keep asking. Can you reform your question? I don't understand what you're trying to say, mate. All right, try it again, and I'll see what I can. Yeah. Annie's trying to clarify. Cool. Okay, what have we got? Dillian, you don't know about this whole thing where vegans are strongly opposed to animal welfare laws because they can't show horrific footage anymore. No, never heard of that. What does that mean? Even with the highest animal welfare laws, there will still be horrific things happening. Like the slaughterhouse, no matter what, I have been inside some of the most high welfare slaughterhouses probably on earth. There is no part of that process that isn't horrific. Yeah. So I've not heard about this, but it doesn't sound like it makes much sense to me. I would say like that. You're asking my opinion on it. I don't think that makes any sense. Cheers for the question, mate. Vegan, I'm not rounding up. I'm doing a Q&A. Ask some questions. I'll be here for a while. Like I'm not slowing down yet. All right. I'll be here for a bit longer. Okay. Don't worry. How is your, Mike says, David, how is your fitness journey going? Pretty good, I think. I've gained about, oh my, really? Is that how much I gained? Wait, what was I before? Hold up. 74. Wait, why am I confused about this? I can't do maths, guys. I've gained about 8 kilos. Yeah, I've gained about 8 kilos in weight. I just couldn't remember like what was it previously. I was having a look. Yeah, I think I gained about 8 kilos in weight. I think a lot of it is fat, but obviously there's muscle as well because I like my arms are thicker and stuff, and my shoulders are thicker and stuff. And I will be doing like some kind of shred. Also, I'll be trying to get rid of a lot of the fat at some point. But you know what? You know what's grown the most, and I did not expect this. Apart from the beard gains, which they've been great, my ass is grown. I was talking to Annie the other day. So you know you get those shorts with like the string on, and you tie the string, right? And you tie it at the bit where you're like, oh, I can put them on, I can take them off easy, right? But like they stay on when I'm walking around. You know, there's that kind of sweet spot where you tie that kind of shorts where they don't just fall off, and then but you don't have to undo them every time. I had them set up like that, and then the longer I've been doing this, eating more and training, the more and more difficult they've been to get over my ass, and I'm gonna have to retie them at some point. So yeah, that was something I never expected to happen. Ass gains. All the girls in here are jealous right now, right? I'm not even trying to get ass gains; it's just happening. So yeah, I'd prefer that. I prefer to get one from my ass to my chest. I'd prefer chest gains, but I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. That's what's growing the most. I don't know why, but that's what's growing the most. I'm not even training ass really. I'm just training like chest and back, and maybe a little bit of legs. But like I'm really not focusing on the ass. But it's growing anyway. Have you ever felt seriously threatened by angry anti-vegans online or at protests, etc.? Vegan activist and asks. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, when you say seriously threatened, like I've not been scared for my life, but I've been threatened, physically threatened, and like confronted, by people who are angry about what we're showing on the street, or angry about what I'm filming. If I was filming something, like I don't know, on a like a vigil or some kind of investigation, and they go, "What are you filming?" and they're angry about that. They get really angry about that. And yeah, online it's not as scary because I've had lots of emails from people and stuff like, oh, what if I could find you if I bump into you, or reporting me to the FBI and things like that. But that's not really that scary because people online are a bit silly. I mean, you shouldn't completely overlook if they seem very serious, or if they seem to know where you live or whatever, then it can be a problem. But I've never had that. I've only had, like, the only kind of altercations I've had physically in person were pretty mild as well. And they kind of come with, I mean, look, if you spend a lot of time outside talking about something that people are unhappy about, it's inevitable that eventually someone's going to come along and be upset with you. It's not a reason to not do it. You should still absolutely get out there and do it. It's really important to get out there and do activism. But just be aware that, if you stood outside doing nothing every day, you'd eventually have some kind of conflict because there are drunk people. There are usually kind of, a lot of the time the people that come and cause conflict, they're drunk and homeless. And these people are going to eventually going to interact with somebody who's in this kind of situation who wants to kick off, regardless of whether you're doing an activism event or you just stood there. So yeah, I would say for anyone that's wondering or kind of scared about it or anything like that, you're going to be all right. You got your team. There's cameras everywhere. The police are around. You just kind of get out there, and it probably won't happen to you. But if it does, don't be too beat up about it. Just like, yeah, it's part of just being outside for a long time and, being out in the public and talking to them. You're going to have some bad apples. It's going to happen, right? But it's worth it, because if we don't get out there and try and talk to people, whether online or in person, then we're letting the animals down, aren't we? We're not doing our best. We've got to try and get out there and try and get it going, Lithium Dragon, thank you so much for the tip. It says, speaking of animal welfare laws, what's your opinion on signing or not signing petitions that increase animal conditions but not abolishing their exploitation? Well, I mean, signing a petition it's a nothing. It takes you minutes to do it, and if it costs the industry more money, then why not just sign it? It costs you zero, but it costs the industry a shit ton of cash. It'll put some farms out of business. It'll put some slaughterhouses out of business. They can't afford to make the kind of changes that need to be made by some of these animal welfare laws. So as a tactic, it's not a terrible tactic to sign these things and continue working towards abolition, while also being mindful of the fact that the more difficult you can make it for these people to operate, the better it's going to be in the long run, right? So, yeah, I think signing petitions is fine. If you've got 5 seconds to do it, just do it. I mean, why not? I would say thanks again, Lithium Dragon, for the tip and the question. Akash Ayagari, thank you for the super chat, mate. Appreciate it. I didn't see any message, so I'll just say thank you. Let me, if you've got a message, just pop it in the chat. Hi, VLAN, thank you for the congrats on the 8 kilos. Appreciate it. And Mag as well. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm sitting at like, I went and checked. I weighed myself today. Like almost 83 kilos, this is the heaviest I've ever been. And the weight just keeps on coming on. So it's, I'm feeling, I don't know, I feel the same, honestly, as before. The only thing that's changed is my cardio's kind of hit shit. I find myself getting out of breath a little bit quicker. Like, going up like multiple flights of stairs. I used to be like a champion, like, yeah, let's go. Carrying the bags, like suitcases and shit. Like, I was fine when I got to the top. Now I'm feeling it a bit because I'm not just carrying suitcases. I'm carrying 2 suitcases and an extra 8 kilos. So I feel it kind of, So I think when this whole get as big as possible challenge is over, the first thing I'm going to be doing is getting my cardio back. So working out, running and doing HIIT training and stuff like that, which I'll be doing a bit of that during the cutting period too, before the vegan camp out. I'm going to try and get like shredded. So I'll get the cardio back up. But right now it's just a lot of food and weight training and like no cardio because I'm trying my hardest to put weight on. It's not a good combination. If you want to be like, I was a runner before, but I think right now I'll be pretty useless running long distance because of the extra weight. Julie for the animals, thank you so much for the tip. That's awesome. Thank you. Just finished watching your 7-day, 70-hour challenge. Really amazing work. Wish I could have been there live with you and the Ram fam for the fun. I'm in the US and seem to miss them, so I'm stoked about catching you today. Thank you for what you do. Thank you, Julie. That is awesome that you watched all 7 days on the replay. That's sick. I hope it was cool. I hope you enjoyed it. It was tough for me, that 7-day, 70-hour challenge. That was intense. Next one we're going to do is going to be a 7-week challenge. No, I'm kidding. But I have had an idea to do a multiple days, like non-stop streaming. So as in, like, I was thinking of setting it up so that I start at maybe like 12 midday, because it's limited to 12 hours on YouTube, right? So like 12 midday through to like midnight, and then just stream my sleeping and then do that 12 hours, like 9 hours, and then wake up and then start a new stream. I don't know if it's like, I don't even know if it would be fun for you as well, but I'm thinking, I come up with these stream challenges partly because they're fun, but also to raise money and also to challenge myself. So I'm trying to think, like, what's a good one that would tick all these boxes? Well, I think this kind of continuous streaming for a certain amount of time, that could be a pretty cool one, right? So, yeah, if you have any ideas for the stream challenges, like anything like that that seems like wild and out there, let me know. And Ben said, thank you for the tip, mate. Says, dollars for that fat ass. Appreciate it. No twerking today, though. I will not be twerking on the channel again. I think it was just a one and done, that one. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, I knew somebody would be asking about the twerking. Mag was asking about it. No, I will not be twerking with the new ass. No. That isn't going to be happening. Hey. Have you, thanks for the question, Luke. Have you ever done canvassing, petitioning for animal rights? If so, what was your experience like, and what did you find successful? Canvassing and petitioning. Yeah, I've done some in the past. Actually, do you know, this is pretty crazy. I forgot this. Wow. Luke, you have just brought back a memory for me. You just pulled something out of the ether from my brain that was just forgotten. My first ever activism, I've told you guys, my first ever activism was when my mum took me to an animal testing event where we were protesting against this lab, right? That's not true. That's not the first activism I did. The first activism I ever did was we got a delivery from Peter of leaflets, and I took them to school and handed them out in my school. That was my first ever activism. I can't believe I forgot that. Wow, I must have been like 11 or 12, I think. Maybe 11. And I handed them out, and the teachers were nice, and they took them and stuff, and yeah. That's insane. I can't believe that. But yeah, so Luke, that was my first ever thing. Yeah. I just can't believe I forgot about that until just now. So yeah, I did that when I was in school, and I remember it going pretty well. It could have gone really badly, but I'm pretty sure it went well. And since then I've done like little bits of here and there, but I'm not really a big fan of just flyering. I prefer to talk to people and have a conversation, but so I can't really say I'm an expert on the topic, but from what I know of people like Ronnie Lee and Roger Yates, I believe they do a lot of this kind of canvassing. I believe they're big on just getting kind of leaflets and fly. I think so anyway. I'm pretty sure we discussed this, where they try and get them out as far and wide as possible, and I've seen some activists too, like do it. They put them on people's windscreen wipers in the cars, post them through people's letterboxes. I think it's really good. I think it is successful. I've heard one guy I know went vegan because he found one of these flyers or leaflets on a train, and he read it on his train journey and went vegan like on the same day. So they can work, and I think it doesn't take a lot of time, and it's quite effortless, isn't it? You print them off, you go and post them out, put them through people's letterboxes, or hand them out an hour or two. It's not really that hard. So I think for people starting out, it's definitely better than not doing anything. And it potentially, if you're not filming your outreach, it could be a really good alternative to outreach. Because if you're filming outreach, you're going to reach a lot more people through social media. But if you're not, you could probably combine outreach with do some kind of canvassing as well, because you can expand your reach a lot more with canvassing as opposed to doing outreach in the street, right? But then without outreach, it's more quality time versus canvassing, which is you don't really get a chance to follow up. So there are pros and cons of both. But I guess in conclusion, what I will say is if outreach isn't your cup of tea and you don't feel like that's for you yet, definitely getting flyers from Peter, like some free flyers, or from any organization, Mercy for Animals, for example, and handing them out Viva, then I think that's a really good, I think it's a good thing to do. Thanks for the question, Luke. Dutchy. Oh, we got two tips. Dillian says, I think you dropped your pen behind you. Go pick it up. Dillian, I will not be treated like that. Okay, Dillian, I'm not an object. Okay, I'm not. How dare you? How dare you treat me like that? It's kind of pervy, bro. On a serious note. But I ain't bending over for you, Dillian. Not again, right? Last time you were too rough. So come on, back down, man. Dutchy, what's up, man? Says, have you ever heard of Jake Conroy, the cranky vegan? You should do a reaction challenge on him. I think he responded to you before. Jake, obviously I know Jake is cranky vegan. We've talked a little bit in DMs over the years, and a reaction challenge on his stuff, I don't think I would, because I think he already knows this, but no shocker. We don't really see eye to eye on quite a few topics. Although when I do like what he's said, I think I've told him that I like this thing that you did. But it's kind of, and he's done the same thing for me when he likes something I've done, but it's few and far between. I think we mostly disagree with each other on stuff. So I wouldn't do like a reaction challenge to his stuff, because it would probably just be me kind of saying, oh, I don't agree. And, nobody wants to see me sat here disagreeing with another vegan for 10 hours. You know what I mean? Yeah. At least I don't think so anyway. I don't think it would be much fun for anyone, really. But I'll think about it. Maybe it would, though. I'll think about it. I don't think he's responded to me before. He's shit on me in a video before. That wasn't nice. But apart from that, I don't know what else he's done on me. But we were actually going to have a conversation. We set it up to have like some kind of either live or recorded conversation. But this was years ago, and he backed out of it, and we never really, that was it, So, I mean, I would like to have a talk with him on, we have lots of topics that we disagree on that would be interesting to have a stream on, but as far as I'm aware, I don't think he would do it. I think he's aware that it would harm his reputation with the the people that we talked about earlier, those people that we spoke about, like Danny did the impression of and stuff like that. These people love Jake. And I think that's his core audience mainly. Like, I'm not saying you're like Dutchy. I don't know if that's you or not. I would assume not. But I think a lot of his audience are like that. And I think he knows that if he comes on my channel or Danny's channel, for example, I think a lot of his audience would be very upset with him. And I think he knows that. So, yeah. But yeah, good question anyway. I'm not a hater of Cranky. But we definitely have our disagreements. Yeah. And cheers for the tip, mate. I'm just going through your guys' questions right now and your comments. You guys are on a good chat, huh? What else do we have? VLAM asks, do you play other sports? I don't. Well, not right now, but I was big into running for a long time. I played American football for about like 8 years, from the age of probably like 15 through to like 20 something, like 7 or 8 years. On and off, but like relatively consistently at some parts anyway. So probably like, yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I played American football, but right now, no sports. I still like American football. Don't play in any kind of professional sense or anything like that. Just like throwing a ball around, messing around with friends, and running, but not right now. No running right now because I'm trying to put on the weight. All right, what else do we have? I'm just catching up now with you guys. Could possibly do a collab. You do half a day, someone else, Danny does the other half. Mark's asking. What about Cranky? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll have to think about it, Mark. Honestly, I've never really considered doing this, so it's like this idea like to do it with Cranky Vegan is a little bit new to me. I'll think about it. I'm leaning towards no though, but we'll see. We'll see. Oh, maybe I missed it, but did you ever find out what happened with Jordan from Vegan Camp Out? The no show. Hope he wasn't in the hospital after you bashed on him. No, he wasn't in the hospital, but he had like a personal thing, like a personal emergency, that meant like he couldn't get online basically. It wasn't possible. It turned out like people had contacted me, but like someone contacted me on his behalf, but it was on Facebook and I wasn't looking at Facebook. It was on my Facebook page. So yeah, he's okay anyway. Takeaway messages is okay. Everything's fine. But yeah, hopefully we're going to have him on again though. We're going to have him. I'm trying to set up a stream right now, guys. You guys know Roger Yates, right? So I'm trying to set up a stream right now with Jordan from the Camp Out, George Martin, Carnism Debunked, Ronnie Lee, and Roger Yates, because those guys have a lot of opinions and things they disagree on, and I want to bring them all on to have a good chat about it. And we're almost ready to set it up. It's almost going. So listen, if any of you guys are subscribers of Roger Yates, if any of you know him, and you like him and you like his stuff, or you're on his Twitter, you're in his comments on YouTube, whatever, if you're a fan, please just politely and gently nudge him to say, hey, because he's the only one we're waiting on right now. So just go and give him a nudge and say, Roger, do the discussion, do the live stream on David Rams's channel. We all want to see it, Roger. And just give him a little nudge, because he's AWOL right now. We can't. We're waiting for an answer. He's the only one. Everyone else is ready to go. So yeah, do me a favor, guys. If you know him, if you're a fan, yeah, say you really want to see him on the channel, and we'll set that up. I'm really excited for that. Thanks for the question, Julie. Okay. JP and Julie, hi, sorry I'm late. What have I missed? Oh, we just talked about the Tristan Tate versus Joey Carbstrong debate and the people against it. And then we did a little Q&A. Vegan activist. What's wrong with the cranky vegan? There's nothing wrong with the cranky vegan. We're just disagreements. That's all. He has opinions on some stuff I do and say. I have opinions on some stuff he doesn't says. We've not got anything. I don't think we've got anything particularly like against each other necessarily. But you know, sometimes he says stuff that I'm like, and sometimes I say stuff that he's like, and that's pretty much it. But neither of us is, at least recently, neither of us is like cares that much to like call it out or something or make a video about it. I don't think I would do that unless, you know, but I don't really want to make videos about other vegans and what they say unless they're specifically just saying something that's like, I don't know, say if a vegan was like, I think it's okay to eat meat as long as you're like indigenous, then I'm like, okay, you know, shut the fuck up. Then I'll talk about it, because an animal is specifically going to be harmed by that statement. But if a vegan's just like, oh, you know, I don't think this thing was good or whatever, and then it's like, I would never do like a video about them, but like call them out, like, oh, look at this idiot or something like that. I try to avoid that kind of vegan inside drama stuff, unless it's like completely relevant, you know? Like, for example, I talked about these vegans today. That's a general thing. But I don't think I would really hone in on one individual unless it was really ludicrous, you know? And unless it's specific, like I say, if there's an animal involved in it, or it's like really out there, then maybe I would do it if it was like really out there. I don't know. But with Cranky, I don't feel like I disagree with him enough to go that far. But yeah, definitely do find that we don't agree on a lot of stuff. Do you think vegan influencers and YouTubers are supporting each other enough? Yeah, probably not. Maybe no. Probably no, because I think a lot of us get caught up on the stuff we disagree on. And I mean, I try not to do that. For example, if I disagree with, for example, I don't agree with a lot of what Cranky does and says, but I would go on his channel if he invited me, because no matter how much stuff we disagree on, I would always take the opportunity to go on and talk about the stuff, right? And same with some other channels where we've had conflict. But if they invited me on, I'd still consider going on to talk, because I'd be happy to put the conflict behind us and get over it. So I try to be like that. I think, unfortunately, a lot of other vegan YouTubers don't operate like that. They kind of, yeah, they're not, I guess they're not very forgiving, or they hold grudges. And so they don't invite certain people on, or they won't work with certain people because of some grudge or some disagreement. Even if that person like reaches out to them and says, hey, why don't you come on? I've had this happen a couple of times to me. Like I say, hey, do you want to come on the channel? And people turn me down over disagreements on topics and I'm like, well, let's come on and talk about that topic then. If you disagree, I mean, that's, why would you not want to? No, they're like, no, I don't want to. And you're like, I don't know. I feel like that happens a little bit too often with people. I'd like to see more vegan YouTubers, have these kind of chats, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, I understand like people have got their reasons for, not wanting to get into certain topics or whatever. But I think we definitely could do with supporting each other a little more. And yeah, and if somebody, of course, if somebody, like I've said, some people didn't want to come on, I didn't go out there and then, you know, roast them or something like that. You just kind of move on. But it would be better if we could have a little bit more like support, I suppose, for each other. Yeah. Like more, maybe what I'm trying to say is like maybe more of like a call-in culture versus a call-out culture between vegan YouTubers would be better. But yeah, whatever. People have their own reasons for doing what they do online, and some people prefer to go and you know, go after each other as opposed to just either getting over it and moving on, or I don't know. Yeah, just getting over it and moving on. I was trying to come to the point that I wanted to make there, but I kind of lost it along the way. Conclusion. Yeah, I think there's a good amount of support between vegan YouTubers, but it could always be better. There you go. Kind of talked in circles a little bit on that one. LR says, David, how much do you weigh and how tall are you? You look bigger than I expected compared to last time. There's no way you got this big being vegan. I am about like 6'2", which is like 188 centimeters, something like that, and currently like 83 kilos. And yeah, I put that weight on in about about how long has it been now? I mean, I got it tracked. So, and yes, I don't know if you're joking about the vegan bit, but yeah, of course, all vegan. Okay, this is day 50. Today's day 50. So it took me 50 days to... Oh, I lost the light again. Great. It took me 50 days to put on about 8 kilos of weight. And that's where I'm at. Cheers for the compliment. Appreciate that. Very political answer. Well, yeah, because I realized as I was getting through it, I was kind of like, oh, you know, I don't even know if I want to get into any drama right now. So I was kind of like, let's just go political. Because it's, you know, I don't like, personally, I don't really like these dramas that go on between vegan YouTubers. Reason being is that you don't really know what's happening in the background. Like, you might be absolutely smashing someone to pieces in a video, and they might be going into a bloody investigate a slaughterhouse in the morning, and you've just, you know, absolutely wrecked their mental health by you know, getting some kind of, I don't know, you've got all your followers to like roast them or hate them or whatever, or got loads of people to unsub them and give them crap because you disagreed on something or because they wouldn't do something or whatever. So I think it's, you know, with vegan YouTubers especially, I do think you got to be a little bit careful because you don't know what they're doing. You really don't. Like these people on Twitter who have been giving Joey crap, you're like, do you even know what Joey does? Like, he just exposed these gas chambers in the UK. Tomorrow morning, he might be off out doing that again, and you've just tried to start a Twitter campaign against him. What do you think that does for his mental health? Right? He's out there trying to fight against people who kill animals for money, and he's having to like put his, you know, risk his safety and stuff and go against these people. And then he logs into Twitter and all these bellends are just trying to cancel him and make out that he's evil or some kind of... I saw someone saying that supporting Joey was just proving that white supremacy and is still existing or something like that. Someone tried to make it about... Can you just imagine being in the shoes? Imagine being someone who's about to go out and experience the worst things that humanity has to offer, or maybe they just did, and you get home and log into Twitter and everyone on Twitter's calling you a white supremacist and that they're not really a vegan, and you, Jesus Christ. So I always, you know, I've learned from personal experience with this kind of stuff that with vegan YouTubers and activist YouTubers and activist influencers, you should try to be a little bit careful before you go out and try and slander them. Because if you really care about animals, the last thing you want to be doing is slandering these kind of people who do this stuff, you know? Now, like, obviously slander and making jokes or slander and making a sly comment, these are not quite the same thing, but I'd be very careful before making some kind of real serious campaign against somebody based on, I don't know, based on who they're going to debate, like debating Tristan Tate. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. So yeah, VLAM, there's the less political answer for you, but hope you appreciate that. Dutchy, thanks for the tip, mate. Has Leia Hailpern, the Tate simp, ever replied back to your tweet? She's the one who claims men who are vegan have small dogs are red flags on Twitter. Was that the Leia Hailpern? Was she the one that I said, oh, have me on your podcast? Was that her? Or, oh, no, I remember the one. Yeah, no, I don't think she responded. Let me go and have a look. Leia Hailpern. Oh, there she is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll show you guys the tweet, I guess. Let me just do a quick search for it because it was probably a while back now. Yeah, I'll show everybody so they can see because this was hilarious. This whole situation. All right. Come on. Where's the advance? Oi. Oh, fuck's sake. All right. Here we go. Just bear with me, guys. I'll be there in a second. I'm just gonna find the tweet. I need to do like an advanced search. You know what I'm saying? Is that her? Aha. All right, I'll load it up for you now. So this is what Dutchy's talking about. So, well, that's not the thing I wanted. What the hell was that? All right, let's get back to that now. There we go. So, red flags. This is the original tweet, right? Red flags in a man. Vegan. It's number one. Feminist, blue hair, small dog, pronouns, vaccinated, hates Andrew Tate, wears Apple Watch, doesn't like Bitcoin. She sees all these things as red flags. So I responded saying, all right, I'll bite on the animal-related red flags. 1, vegan men stand up for what they believe in, even though they get mocked by male friends and encouraged to keep towing the line, eating meat. It takes mental fortitude to be vegan, especially for men. 2, if a man adopts a shelter dog who needs a home the most, and that dog happens to be a small dog, is that a red flag? He's a protector, a provider for an animal in need, most likely the animal everyone else ignores. That's commendable. TLDR, caring about animals in a world where you're encouraged to be a selfish piece of shit makes you a strong person, not a red flag. And she never responded to it. But, hey, some other people did. Some vegans, it seems. Yeah, and some non-vegans too, with some silliness. So yeah, she never responded to that. I wonder why. Maybe because her tweet was dumb as fuck. Very, very silly. But yeah, of course it went viral. 3 million hits. Annoyingly, but what are you going to do? These people never reply, though, as far as I can see. They kind of make their big thing and then disappear, you know. But yeah, stand by everything I said there, of course. Of course. Thanks, Dutchy, for the reminding me of that. But no, she never responded. GJ Lernal, thank you so much for the tip. It says Joey's a legend. Joey is, in fact, a legend. I agree. TLDR means too long, didn't read. I want my light, guys. I just, you know, maybe this is like some like obsession of mine, but I need the light. Get on. There we go. No. Oi. Right. I don't even know why it wasn't working. Alright. The light is on. I do not know if it's going to fall over or not, but we have it for now, so that's fine. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I guess again, GJ Lernal, thank you for the tip. I want to show. Oh yeah, did I show you guys actually? Did I tell you Tristan Tate actually responded to me? Speaking of influencers who actually respond, Tristan did respond to me and my tweet about Joey. Did you guys see that? I'll show you. So I made a tweet that was about Joey and the debate. Here's the tweet I made here. It says, vegan activist Joey Carbstrong will debate red pill celebrity Tate the Talisman. Oh, he's removed the tag on veganism. Some vegans are mad about this. They're comparing it to drinking tea with a Nazi and saying it's wrong to engage with someone like Tristan. In 1993 in South Africa, a pro-apartheid militia group was planning to lynch thousands of black men to prove a point. The country was on the brink of civil war. Nelson Mandela invited the leader of this racist militia for a meeting at his own home, made him tea, treated him with respect, and through understanding was able to prevent any violent action. Having tea with the enemy saved thousands of innocent lives. Joey's no Nelson Mandela and Tristan is no armed racist militia leader, but a lesson's important. Cancellation and exclusion doesn't help. It requires no effort, and the result is more radicalization. Making contact and trying to understand why someone believes what they believe requires a lot of effort, and you have a far higher chance of changing their mind. If you want to change the world, you have to talk to people you disagree with. And Tristan responded, "Please don't refer to me as red pill. Those people are autistic. Also, as a half-black man descended from slaves, I find your choice of example in very poor taste. I don't need white people even loosely likening me to apartheid politicians who want to lynch blacks. Thanks." I said, "How would you refer to yourself?" The story was to show a high-stakes example of how even the most extreme opinions can be changed, how conflict and dialogue are important. You agree with that, right? It wasn't meant to liken you to a pro-apartheid politician. And he responded to that saying, "It's cool. I look super white anyway. I doubt you knew I was mixed race. I don't refer to myself as any of these weird Twitter labels. My bio says it all. Sportsman, father, businessman. This whole don't have kids or families tribe aren't my people." So, yeah. Relatively, I mean, reasonable enough in Twitter at least. So, I don't know. It's a good sign. It looks good for the conversation, the debate with Joey. If he's reasonable on other topics like that, then, you know, who knows, maybe he'll be reasonable when he talks to Joey and they'll be able to actually have a meaningful discussion about veganism, right? We can only hope. We can only hope, can't we? We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. What about it, guys? You got some more questions for me? I've got a little bit more time for you. Mark's asking, do we have any clue when it might happen? It's going to be at some point in July. Because Tristan Tate can't stream until then because of the legal stuff they've got going on. But I don't know if they have an exact date yet. I will see if I can find out at some point, and then. But yeah, it'll be. I mean, everybody will probably know as soon as they know, and they'll get it penciled in. And they'll start promoting it, probably, right? That's usually how these things go. Yeah, he started off poisoning the well with this is going to be the most boring debate ever. Well, I mean, yes, also no, because he doesn't understand what they are debating, right? He thinks it's a personal choice of what to eat. What they're going to debate, what he doesn't realize that they're going to debate is not just, what we're going to eat for dinner. They're going to be debating the actual ethics behind it. This is what he's overlooking. So I guess he doesn't see a debate to be had, but that's what Joey has to explain to him, that, there is a debate to be had. This is not just about what you eat for dinner. It's way more than that. And then that's where they'll probably get into it. So, yeah, he's been like sarcastic or whatever, but we'll see. I mean, who knows, man? He might take the angle of just being really unreasonable and messing around, which wouldn't go well for his whole kind of be a man and speak to other men you disagree with, and be civil. That wouldn't make sense if he went against that. But he may do it. We never know. But we can only hope that he will actually stand by his word and have a civil discussion with somebody he disagrees with, like he said he can do that. He claimed he can do that. Well, he has to go and show it now. He has to go show that he can do that. That's the challenge that he's got to do. That's his challenge. That's what he has to try and work with. Yeah, it's fun to speculate about it. I can't wait for it to go ahead. Maybe we'll do like some kind of live reaction to it. Like we'll live stream the live stream. Maybe that would be pretty fun. We've done that before. We can do it again. I think we could do that. All right, so guys, what have I got coming for you? Well, I've got a reveal for you. You know how I had Ryback Reeves on the channel some time ago? Remember that? The wrestler Ryback Reeves? Well, he came on here and said a lot of stuff about veganism and why he went vegan and how he cared about animals and how he cared about like how we've all been tricked and stuff like that. And then I don't know if you guys know, but he's no longer vegan. He's not only no longer vegan, he is straight up eating the dirtiest like takeout stuff, you know, like proper McDonald's and shit like that. Like he's gone fully back into eating meat and animal products. And I know you guys, some of you guys told me about this a while back, and then somebody recently said, you know, are you still planning to make a video about this? And I remembered, like, shit, I need to make a video about that. So I've got a video about that. It's almost ready, and it's fair, but it's very firm. I've not gone anywhere near as hard as him as I did on like Cosmic Skeptic, for example. Simply because with the cosmic stuff, it was next level ridiculous, whereas Ryback hasn't really said anything about it, and I've got nothing to really go at him for. So I've just kind of made the video where we're going to talk about it. We're going to look into my theory of why he's done this, and yeah. So who is he? VLAM's asking. He's a wrestler, or he's a professional wrestler. Was in the WWE. Was a very big deal, and yeah, very big guy. So this video, it's going to be out soon. That's the next video you can expect to come for the channel, I think. Oh, no, wait. Face the Facts Friday will be the next one. This one will be the one after that. So keep an eye out for that. I think you'll really like this video because it's not all about Ryback. He's part of the video, but I'm actually talking about what I think the main reason people, like general people, go back on veganism and go back to eating animals. I'm going to get into that in this video. I'm quite happy with how this video turned out. So I definitely come and check that one out, guys. The thumbnail's pretty funny, and so is the I've got a little bit of, like a little skit in the video, which is quite funny as well, which kind of like mocks Ryback a little bit. We have to mock them a little bit. Can't be completely vanilla. We've got to throw a couple of body shots in there. You know what I mean? Can't just be completely reasonable. We got to have a little bit of fun, right? So yeah, so that's what's coming. What else do I have for you? I've got a couple of other things in the works. So just, you know, stick around, guys. And if you've got any final last minute questions, pop them in now, because we're looking at finishing up soon, you know. So I'll give you one last chance to ask me a couple questions. And if I like the questions that you're asking, I'll answer them. If I don't like them, then we'll finish up. And I'll just end the stream instantly. It'll just be like pop over if I don't like the questions. While I'm waiting for that, see if you've got any. I'll tell you that update on my side. The reason I've not been around, there's a lot of stuff going on. We're doing a lot of work right now behind the scenes, like off camera. And that's why I've been away and not been streaming. And we have a couple of weeks now, and then there will be another little break from streaming, guys. Not because I'm taking a actual break. Not on holiday or anything. Unfortunately, I'd like a holiday. I'd like to take a little, but no, we don't have time for that. We are working on other projects behind the scenes. The projects that we've been talking about, that I've been telling you guys about, and yeah, that's what's been going on. So we'll be continuing with those things. So please do keep supporting the channel and don't go anywhere. You know, stick around. Even if we're not live, we're still doing a lot of work and the videos are still coming. But just be aware of that. Like, you know, if I'm ever not active, that's why. We're doing private project work. Okay, guys, which you will absolutely be happy about. It's animal rights work, of course. Lithium Dragon, you're right. I did miss your question earlier. I'll pop it back up on the screen. When doing street activism, how do you respond to someone reacting negatively about graphic footage of animal farming being shown to the public around kids? What if they get law enforcement involved? Well, if they get law enforcement involved, then, I mean, you got to do what the police say, I suppose, just to avoid any kind of drama or anything like that. So that's reasonable to stop and do what they say. You don't want to get in trouble. If there's no police involved or anything like that. And by the way, police will just tell you to move on. They're not going to arrest you for showing videos. But if they want to discuss it, you can I mean, you want to diffuse the situation. You want to calm things down. So you could say something like, okay, well, why do you think that we are showing it, even though we know kids might see it, right? Do you think we're trying to upset kids? No. Okay. Well, like, tell me what do you think our aim is? And you could try to like have them understand that you're not trying to put this out so kids see it. You know, the laptops a lot of the time are high up, right? So I mean, what are we talking about? Like, how small is the kid? Like, I mean, the kid's gonna have to really struggle. Like, the TVs are high up. You know what I mean? And if honestly, like, if you feel any kind of, if you feel like it's not right for kids to see it, well, bear in mind that what the child does in the street is the parent's responsibility, not yours. So, like, if someone's walking around the street with their kid and their kid runs into a sex shop, like, that's the parent's fault. The parent can't be like, you shouldn't have this shop here. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you're stood there on the street. If the parent's not paying attention to what you're showing and the kid watches it, that's the parent's fault. Don't say that to the parent, but I'm telling you, for your peace of mind, like, the kids are their responsibility. The world's full of horrible things. You need to be aware of where your kid is and what they're looking at all times when you're in public. Now, that being said, when you are talking to somebody, I don't recommend you say that. I recommend you open a dialogue with them to say, okay, look, I understand you don't want your kid to see this, but what do you think our aim is today? I mean, you can tell them my aim is I don't particularly want kids to see this. This is more for adults to be moved by. You know what I mean? So what do you think? Why do you think I'm showing it? What do you think we're here for? Something like that. I think that would be how I would try to diffuse the situation. So yeah, I know. Yeah, that wasn't my aim. But while you're here, like, what do you actually think the point of this is? Like, what do you think we're here for? Yeah, open questions. Try and calm it down, and you could even potentially apologize if you feel like it. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry the kid had to see this. We ideally wouldn't be here. We don't want to be here. You know what I mean? It's not something I want to do. I don't want to see this either. So I totally get you, but I mean, you can see why, right? Can't you see like what we're trying to do here? And then what we're trying to do is this. I think that's probably a good way of going about it. Thanks for the question. Good question. JP and Julia, good to see you on my TV again. It's been too long. Keep up the good work. Nice. Happy to be on your TV, JP and Julia. Appreciate it. It's cool. I love the idea that some people watch my videos on TV. It's very cool. Very cool. My face just big there on a big 32, 40-inch TV. JP and Julia, can you see all my pores? Can you see my big, like, unhealthy, saggy skin from, all of the poor plant-based nutrition? All this 8 kilos of muscle clearly is from just being completely and utterly just malnutrition. That's what's going on here. Working out every day and putting on muscle. It's because I can't get enough nutrition on the vegan plant-based diet. That's exactly what's going on. That's sarcasm, by the way, for anyone watching who doesn't get that. I've realized that, I need to be aware that not everybody's British or super sarcastic. So you gotta make sure we're inclusive here, guys. Memento Mori says, have you seen Cosmic Skeptic's recent podcast with Peter Singer? Amazingly, Cosmic Skeptic manages to sound more vegan than Singer. I've watched a little bit of Joey's video on it, but I've not watched the OG video. I've got like little to no interest in anything Cosmic Skeptic does right now, and maybe that'll change in the future, but for now I don't expect me to be talking about him. I think maybe once I don't know, there was so much of him that now I'm just like, I just don't want to see him anymore, talk about him or anything. I don't hate the guy. I'm just kind of saturated with the him, you know what I mean? Oversaturated with all that stuff. So maybe I'll come back to it at some point, but I won't be doing any kind of reaction or anything to that video. I just can't give you guys, I just end up getting frustrated with it and be like, I'm just so sick of talking about this guy, you know what I mean? But definitely check out Joey Carbstrong's video. It was really good. It's like an hour long, so it's a bit of a long haul, bit of a long haul. Is that what I wanted to say? It's like a slog, but worth watching. So definitely recommend checking that out. All right, legends, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you, everybody, for coming checking out the stream. I appreciate it. Hit subscribe if you enjoyed it. I mean, if you watched this long and you're not subscribed, that's insane. Turn the notifications on so you get that as well. And remember, if you really enjoy the stream, if you really enjoy the work that we do, and you find it useful, you find everything that we're doing to be useful, and you want to support me and what I'm doing, then you please do consider joining the Patreon team. And with the Patreon team, you get access to direct DMs with me. So that's like a big bonus for you. But the biggest bonus for you is that your money goes directly to the animal rights work that we're doing both on and off YouTube. And trust me, when I've said this a couple of times, but I will repeat it. When our project is launched and you see what we've been doing, you will be so happy that your money went into it. All right. I guarantee that to you. In fact, I guarantee it so much that I'm happy to say that if you wanted your money back after you see what the project is for some reason, I'd happily give it back. I can give you that kind of guarantee. So whether you join the Patreon or the YouTube memberships team as well, which is another good way to support, or if you wanted to send any amount via PayPal, that's also an option in the description of this video. You can find all of it. Just know that your money is going to a very good place in this project. As I said, you'll be very happy that you contributed to it once we reveal it. Should be able to reveal more information towards the end of this year, but I'll keep you updated. I'm very, very keen to finish this project and get it out to the world. It's going to be very important for a lot of animals, hopefully. So yeah, keep calling out that BS, guys. I'll catch you all in the next one.